Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. This is a very special Monday. It's August 6th, 2024. And in case you haven't heard yet, the market's kind of blowing up a bit. So let's go into why. If you haven't heard about this, I'll tell you a bit about it. So, risk level, the MMRI is 238.8. The fear greed index is now at 33, dropped down as far as 27 a bit ago, depending on where you are in the world. So right now, sentiment is fear, and it's pretty deep fear. So there was basically a major move made in Japan regarding the yen, and this sent pretty much all other assets crashing. So their stock market crashed, and this is generally nighttime prior to the United States market in New York. So we've got extreme fear going on. Crushed cryptocurrencies, they dropped down to 52,000 or so. Bitcoin is already looks to be recovering a bit, but we'll take a look at that as well. So with this, they are talking about losses of 800 million in some cryptocurrencies, but that is nothing, and I will explain why in a moment compared to what we're about to see in others. So we had the dollar towards the end of last week fell quite a bit, significant, as well as 10-year yield pulled back. Now, there was a sell off in the market between Thursday and Friday of last week. Now, we've got what's going on, just as I've spoken about before, of why the Federal Reserve will not cut rates without the others in the Western currencies, namely the Bank of England as well as the European Union. They all must cut relatively same time. Otherwise, you get large distortions between the currencies. And if they're major trading partner currencies, as all Western currencies are, it could cause serious issues. So, going a little deeper into what's going on right now, just to hit on this, basically the markets are starting in the red. We've already got pre-market trading has opened, and it's all in the red. We've got the volatility index, or the VIX. Fear index is up. We've got gold is up. It's a safe haven asset. So with this, futures also seeing there's more trouble on the horizon. So we've got this fear and volatility spike. Now, I want to say this is an opportunity for day traders and then also options, because you can make money off of this volatility. It's much easier in this environment than it is when things stay level. So we've got the yen carry trade, and I'll go into that in just a moment because that is the basis of a lot of what's going on here. So what we're looking at, the relative strength of the yen to the US dollar for the most part. We've got central banks basically cutting, as the Bank of Japan is basically hiking their rates or bringing it up because they need to strengthen their currency. So let's go into a little bit more about the calendars and stuff first, and then I will explain that more. So today, we've got PMI ISM coming out, and then Tuesday, trade deficits prior to market open. However, I've been hearing a bit about a possible emergency Fed meeting. With this, I wouldn't be shocked if they came out, and they do this sometimes in these cases, have an emergency meeting, and they could choose to cut rates now or do anything else. But this opens the door for them to basically take some action. So with this is not financial advice, any of this, but I want to urge you caution on anyone that wants to jump in and short this market. There's too many other factors going on here. So be careful with that. If they decide to come in and say that they're going to do an emergency cut, the market will rally. So caution on this. So with this, we've got the yield curve still. We were talking about this on an inversion. Now, this is a big factor with all of this, as I'll talk about the yen carry trade in just a moment. So, with earnings today, which are going to pale in comparison to what else is going on, I just want to bring this up. So, they're talking about the carry trade, the route extending as all of these other currencies are suffering, basically, or jumping, as the US dollar and some of these others drop. So with this, let's go into what's going on. So a yen carry trade basically is a trading strategy in which basically, if you don't know, and if you do already, bear with me for just a bit, for those that are new. Basically, we've got the Bank of Japan that was offering to loan massive amounts of money at zero interest. They loan it to you for free, zero interest rate policy. So with this, we've got the United States government saying, well, if you purchase the treasuries and you buy the loans, we'll pay you 5.5% or so. And as they're hiking their rates, they're making quite a bit of money on this. So they're borrowing for free one side, loaning it to the other, and making the interest. So what happens when it's time to pay off that loan to Japan, they liquidate the assets and basically just pay off the loans back to Japan. Well, this can cause some trouble when those yields reverse. So all of a sudden, if Japan now has higher rates than the United States had, then you've got yourself a deficit and it causes a squeeze. Everyone's trying to get out at the same time. And while everybody's running for the exits at the same moment, that's where the trouble comes in. So with this, aside from these currency movements, we've also got some of these other issues basically tied into the sheer volume of these trades. Because what happened was larger investors were not just borrowing a minimum amount from Japanese banks and purchasing American assets for the interest, but we're talking trillions of leveraged dollars. So these trillions of dollars now suddenly reversed, and they want to dump all of them. So what happens to the US dollar and what's going on there if this all of a sudden reverses? So we are watching the basically what is coming out of this. So with this, we've got Bloomberg saying that Japanese banks losing $85 billion in the panic selling out of the markets, out of their stock market. Fell by a record 17%. This is the worst day they've had in their stock history, I do believe. So they've got everybody on this with the news. Now you're going to hear more about it. Global stock market crash, live updates. It's horrible. It's deepening with investors fleeing to safe havens. No, this is true. So we've got a lot of this money is basically flowing into safety assets at this moment, which is why gold is up. So it's a little bit surprising that Bitcoin cryptocurrency actually aren't doing worse than they were. They hit that 52,000 level that we were talking about first, the 58 and then the 52. So with this, not financial advice again, but what I'm doing, I am buying a little bit more Bitcoin. We'll see what this is. But as I said, could be a very interesting morning to both directions. You just have to be careful because the moves here can be violent. And I have greater concerns I'll bring up in a bit. But with this, I wanted to bring up a little bit more of this carry trade. And it's what's going on right now is unwinding all of the amounts that they had borrowed. Now, I was mentioning the US dollar, but it was not just the US dollar. They're also selling euros or pounds, and they've got to pay off the yen to these Japanese originated loans. So we've got these massive distortions happening within the currencies. And all of this basically is because the yen is a dying currency. We've got all of the Western currencies, and as I was speaking about before, they were already trying to shift some of the weight off to South Korea. So between all of these, there's going to be some very interesting things going on today. And unfortunately, I may not be around tomorrow, so I might not be able to do another video to do some updates. I will do them as much as I can. I think I will be traveling back. I am at the heart of all of this at the moment. So I want to speak a little bit more about basically the currency devaluation that the yen is going through because it was becoming severe. But prior to me getting the chance to finish this up and do that, this happened this morning. So a little bit interesting. Now that we've got all of these currencies are not pegged to commodities, they're not pegged to gold or anything else as they have been in the past. Now, Japan is sovereign with their yen, meaning basically that they're not tied in with any other nations, for instance, as the euro is. So the euro has several nations that use it and trade it. So what does this mean? This means basically that they can do anything else with this yen that they need to in order to either bolster it or, as it is, basically the economy has been taking a hit. So with this, part of what I've been looking around at, and the reason I've been looking into this is how it is affecting the people there, how it is affecting down on the ground level, watching the inflation and watching the basically the distortions in the daily life. And these people are, for the most part, unaware of what is going on with the currency, what is going on with the central banks, and what is about to happen in their economy. Now, they're much stronger, in my opinion, than this happening with, for instance, the US dollar, because their production and their GDP is much stronger. So now I would like to speak a little bit more about what I am actually concerned with and what actually frightens me about all of this going on. So I'm going to jump out of this for a moment to what's going on in Europe. We've got major protests and massive rallies, anti-immigration groups, terrible things, rioters, uh, property damage, all kinds of things going on. Very frightening thing. And this is, again, more distraction and division that is going on. So all of this is to push in this new order that they've got coming, I believe. If you have a different idea, that's fine. You can tell me I'm wrong in the comments if you want to. But this is all basically been constructed together, that we have this division and that everybody is so caught up that they don't see what's actually going on between these dollar trades, the currency wars, and then this physical war. So the one last thing I would like to mention is that we know, and I've been speaking about this, they have deployed basically carrier groups, multiple fighters over to the Middle East. And also they have to the Far East, meaning they're off of Japan. Now, the basically the base is there, and the Pacific American Fleet uh, basically are engaged. They are stocking up, and I believe that it's primed for false flags. So I just want to urge caution. I'm hearing some not very good things about possible currencies, false flag events, some of them involving nuclear, that is planning to basically have an issue. And it will be allayed. They'll take care of it. But just to have it out there and then place the blame on somebody else to say, oh, we caught this in time, but we've got to watch them for these terrorist attacks, are blaming Russia. So I don't know if that's true, so I'm not bringing up too much other than to say to keep aware of what is going on. And with this, I wish you all much luck today. Much love to all of you. Let's stick together. Don't let them divide us. Please try to be aware of what's going on. And with this, through all of this, my friends, stay free.